Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grandest arena where heartbeats become war drums and the finish line becomes destiny's doorstep. In one corner, the Flying Dutchwoman, the Tempest from Amersfoort, the Queen of Rhythm between the hurdles, Femke Bol. And in the other, the Storm born of Faith, the Breaker of Clocks, the Sovereign of Seconds, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. But wait, hold that bell, still your roaring hearts, because this time, this war, this long-awaited rematch, will not happen. No, not in Tokyo. Not under those blistering lights. Not with gold glimmering like a promise between them. Because Sydney, the destroyer of records, has chosen a different battleground. She's moved away from the hurdles. Shifted from rhythm to raw pace. From the art of gliding to the violence of sprinting. The 400 meters flat, her new coliseum. And how she entered it like thunder. Like the crack of divine lightning. Like scripture being rewritten in stopwatch time. USA Track and Field Championships, August 2, 2025. And the track itself trembled under her stride. She nearly shattered the national record, staking her claim for the World Championships with grace and fury. And as the smoke cleared and the flags flew, one name was etched into the 400 meters lineup. Not in hurdles, but in the flat, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. And as that news crossed oceans and found its way to a familiar face, another heart stirred in the Netherlands. Not out of fear, not out of envy, but from the ache of an artist denied her rival. Femke Bol, the hammer of Europe. The champion who's made the 400 meters hurdles her own in Sydney's absence. Felt that pang, and she stood, tall, poised, and honest. Before the cameras, before the questions, before the world. And she spoke, not as a rival, but as a warrior longing for battle. Maybe it's a bit of a disappointment, she said. A shame. Oh yes, a shame. A shame that the great gladiators won't meet again, not this time. Not yet. Not in Tokyo. Not in 2025. Not like they did in Paris. Paris, where the world stood still. Where the stadium hushed. Where the seconds burned slow. And where Sydney defended her Olympic title. Not just with brilliance, but with history. A world record. A moment that scorched itself into the fabric of athletics. Femke chased. She fought. She soared. And even in second place, she shone with fury and grace. Because it was never defeat, it was art. It was a clash of titans. But this year, the sequel slips away. Sydney walks a new path. And Femke stands at the edge of a battlefield with no foe in sight. Only her own limits. Only her own legacy to chase. And yet she says it all. With humility. With wisdom. With the spirit of a true champion. As a track and field enthusiast, I think it's great that she's going to do the 400. Respect. Even when denied the duel. Even when fate says not today. She celebrates the sport. But then she lets the truth echo. As an athlete, I'd love to run against her. That just hasn't happened very often. That is the heart of it. Not rivalry for hatred, but rivalry for glory. For the test. For the thrill of pushing beyond possible. Because someone else demands it from you. She wanted the fire. She wanted the weight of Sydney beside her. She wanted the impossible back in her lane. Because only in that heat does true greatness emerge. So now, as the World Championships draw near, we won't see the golden duel. We won't see Bol versus McLaughlin-Levrone over 10 hurdles. We won't see stride for stride war between rhythm and grace. But we will see Femke Bol stand alone and chase something greater than rivalry. Perfection. And we will see Sydney in the flat 400, where she now sculpts history with new tools. No hurdles. No rhythm. Only raw, merciless speed. Two queens. Two legends. Two burning comets in different skies. And we, the mortals below, we only whisper. One day they'll clash again. One day the lanes will align. One day the clock will hold its breath again. One day the duel returns. And when that day comes, it will be thunder versus lightning. Art versus fire. Bol versus McLaughlin-Levrone. In the arena of eternity. But until then, Femke runs for herself. For her nation. For that whispering hunger in every champion's soul. And Sydney chases destiny in new armor. On a different battlefield. Under the same sky. And we wait.